Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and this is my performance review of the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro. So the Kobe 9 is one of my favorite hoop shoes of all time. Some might disagree. A lot of people love the Kobe 5, Kobe 4, or the Kobe 6, but me, I really love the Kobe 9 and the Kobe 8, especially for nostalgic reasons. And of course, they Protro'd it. And this is the Halo colorway and retails for $210, which is freaking insane. And then the high top, the Kobe 9 Elite High Halo, is $240, which is absolutely insane. Nike's just killing us with the prices, but at least they're releasing Kobe's. Hopefully they release a good amount more. They did release a good amount of Kobe 8 Protro, kind of like just basic colorways. So I put these to the test. I played in them a lot. They're freaking dirty. It kind of sucks because it's an all white colorway. I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but this Flyknit is actually pretty dang dirty. There's a lot of like black marks and stuff like that on it. I guess a lot of people step on my feet, but anyways, let's get it started right off with the tracciones. And of course, with this traction pattern, we have like a heat map of your foot, like a pressure map, and it's pretty much identical to the original Kobe 9. This is the Kobe 9 EM, of course. And the original Kobe 9 had GOAT level traction, amazing bite. You didn't need to break it in at all. It also had a very nice loud high-pitched squeak, which of course has nothing to do with performance, but that is the original Kobe 9 EM and also the Kobe 9 Elites, right? So how does the Protro perform? The Protro is freaking amazing, right? So when I first got it, it was alright. It was stopping pretty well, but not as hard as the original Kobe 9s and from what I was testing, right? So I was a little bit disappointed in that. Also had zero squeak. And of course, squeak has nothing to do with performance, but just for nostalgic reasons, you know, the Kobe 9 is just supposed to be squeaky, you know what I mean? And since the Protro wasn't squeaky, I was a little bit sad about that because I just like to have a squeaky outsole, you know? But then I started to playing it more and more, and once I broke it in, I actually started to squeak a little bit more. Still not super loud for the squeak, but it does have a nice squeak now, right? Also, the bite is absolutely amazing now that it's broken in. So if you're playing on a clean court, you have a top tier bite. You stop really hard. So of course I like that. And also on dust, it doesn't really pick up dust that much either. And if it does pick up dust, it's a really easy wipe. So I had a great time playing in this shoe because the traction broke in really nicely. But of course, I did need to break it in, so just give it a couple of days. It does get better and better, and also start to squeak a little bit more. So yeah, the traction performance is top tier in this shoe, which of course is great. It's just of course a little bit different because you do need to break it in, and also it doesn't squeak as much as the original Kobe 9. And as far as the durability goes, no durability on an outdoor court. This shoe is not going to be good because the rubber is really thin and also pretty dang soft. And yeah, the original Kobe 9 was not good for outdoor use either. So probably don't play with this shoe on an outdoor court, especially since it's $210, right? So there is a traction there. Moving on to the heel to toe transition, that's one thing that I really dislike about the Kobe 9, and it just feels boot-like and really clunky in the heel, right? So of course it does have a drop-in midsole, and on the outside of the shoe here in the heel, we have a carbon fiber piece with the rubber and plastic, right? So here in the heel, it's very clunky. There's no compression. It's not really soft, right? So when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court and then landing on your heel, it does feel clunky there, which I'm not a huge fan of, right? But the React foam is actually pretty dang soft, so you can feel your heel like digging into the foam, but on the outside it's just clunky, right? And then coming here to the forefoot, we do have a nice curved shape, however. So once you get over the clunky feel in the heel and come here into the forefoot, it has a nice kind of like smooth rocking motion, right? And also it's very flexible, reminiscent of the original Kobe 9, right? Very flexible. Literally I can do it with one finger, you know, and here, same thing in the Kobe 9 Protro. So yeah, it's pretty much the same exact feel, just clunky, very clunky in the heel, which that kind of sucks, you know. For example, like the Kobe 8, you have all foam here, and it's not as clunky because the foam actually compresses and all that. So there is the heel to toe transition. Overall, it's a very smooth feel in the forefoot, you know, after you get over the clunkier heel. And now moving on to the cushioning setup. So that's what they upgraded, right? It is a Protro. It's a performance retro for this shoe, and they upgraded pretty much the drop-in right? And so, of course, this shoe does have a drop-in midsole like the original Kobe 9, but they are using React foam, and React foam is super nice in my personal opinion. It's very soft, it's very plush too, and offers a little bit of bounce, especially comparing it to the original drop-in midsole here in the Kobe 9, right? The Lunarlon that this shoe was using was not nice. Like when you got it at first, it was nice, you know, it's super duper soft, very comfortable, especially for underfoot cushion, but it bottomed out very quickly, and impact protection on hard impacts was not good, right? Heel strikes, landing hard in the forefoot also is not very nice. So that's one thing that I noticed that is different, is that the drop-in midsole in the original Kobe 9, it is Lunarlon, and also it feels a little bit thinner, right? If you feel the thickness here, right? And also just trying the shoe on, it does feel lower to the ground in the original Kobe 9. The Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro, you feel a little bit higher up off the ground, which of course it's still not that bad because the Kobe 9, like the original one, had very, very good court feel, right? So this still has very nice court feel. It's just a little bit higher up off the ground, which I do like. I think that's a pretty nice trade-off because, like I said, Lunarlon does bottom out and impact protection wasn't good. So in this, the Protro, on harder impacts, it's not that bad. My foot was digging into the React and it wasn't really bottoming out the foam that much. So on super hard impacts, I was good to go. It wasn't great, like it wasn't the best impact protection ever, you know. For example, like comparing to, I don't know, the Zoom GT Jump to the GT Hustle 3, right? But it still had adequate impact protection. I feel like most people will be covered. Just be careful if you're doing really hard impacts and you want the best impact protection. This probably isn't the best. But also, since it is React and your foot is right on top of the foam because it is a drop-in midsole, you're gonna feel that React right underneath your foot. So step-in comfort and underfoot cushion is actually really nice and very, very plush, right? That's also another pro of having a drop-in midsole. And also another thing that I really like are kind of like these ridges on top of the drop-in. It's like this diamond shape. It comes up a lot. So yeah, that does improve lockdown, which we'll get into. But yeah, the overall cushioning setup, I definitely feel like is an improvement besides the court feel. But like I said, it's still really nice in the Protro. So yeah, the overall cushioning setup is super nice. The only con, in my personal opinion, of course, is just like the original Kobe 9. It's very clunky here in the heel, so that kind of sucks, you know, especially when you're doing heel dominant strides on the court. But after you kind of like bring the ball down the court, and you're doing like step backs and crossovers and you're kind of like going forward, you're not really on your heels as much. You're gonna be more on your forefoot a little bit. So you know, the cushioning setup overall is pretty nice, and I definitely feel like it is a little bit of an upgrade. And then moving on to the upper. So the upper, when I first got it with this Flyknit material, was kind of stiff. You know, it does feel a little bit glued down when you first get it. However, now that it's broken, look at how soft it is. It's extremely soft. Look at that. Just with one finger, it conforms to your foot extremely well, but also is pretty dang supportive. But overall, really, really comfortable, especially here in the forefoot. And the Flyknit just looks really good, right? But of course, because of this colorway and because it is a knit material, it gets really freaking dirty. I don't know if it's coming out on camera, but yeah, it's pretty black for the upper material, right? So yeah, I really like it. The quality is great as well. And then coming here into the midfoot, it, you know, stays extremely thin, but it does feel a little bit more glued down, a little bit stiffer, better for support overall. And of course, we do have the Flyknit cables that do go into the actual Flyknit for better support. I'm not sure how much support it adds, but I really love the look of it, and it just kind of takes me back, you know what I mean? And then another thing that's different is that in the Protro, the swoosh is this plastic material. The original, like the EM, was just this 3M material, and it was just kind of like painted on, you know? But the Protro, it doesn't do that. And for the tongue, we have a good amount of padding, right? It's also really, really large for the tongue, which most Kobe's, you know, they had a very, very large and very thick tongue, which I do like. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And the tongue is connected to this like mesh material, which does have a good amount of airflow through it. And then here in the ankle area, we do have a nice bit of padding too. It's very plush. It's not super duper plush, but it does feel very, very nice here in the ankle area. So yeah, the quality is great. I mean, it better be for 210 bucks. It feels nice on foot. It's minimal and it's also very supportive. So yeah, the overall material is great. I really, really like it. Again, like the only thing I don't like about it, I guess, is that it does get very dirty. So there's that. Moving on to the fit. So the fit, I went true to size, and I wish I went up half a size, maybe even a full size. I feel like, because this shoe is so freaking narrow, guys. So the one thing that I did that kind of helped, or I guess two things, right, is I tried, putting this drop-in midsole, right? So like I said, the lunar line from the original Kobe 9 is a little bit thinner, so it made the overall fit a little bit looser in the toe box. It's really, really tight here in the toe box, but it didn't really help that much with the width. It helped a little bit. But it's still very, very snug for the fit, especially for the width. So that's the only thing that kind of alleviated that kind of really snug fit. But also another thing that I did is, usually with my hoop socks, the basketball socks that I wear are very, very thick, right? And that's indicative of like all basketball socks usually, right? But then one thing that kind of helped is just kind of wearing like a thinner, regular type of sock, that doesn't have that much padding. And it didn't fit as, snug, obviously. So that's one thing you can do. But of course, another thing that you can do is just go like up half a size, or maybe even a full size if you have a very wide foot. But probably don't get the shoe if you have a very wide foot, right? So yeah, here in the toe box, it's super duper snug. It did break in, however, so this material is a little bit looser, and it's a little bit looser here in the toe box, but still very, very snug. Lengthwise, I'm good to go. My toes go very close to the edge of the shoe, so lengthwise, I'm okay, right? So here in the toe box is super duper snug, and also width-wise, holy crap, my pinky toe is freaking, it hurts. It hurts a good amount. It hurts a little bit less now that it's broken in a little bit, but still very, very, very narrow, right? So I'm not a huge fan of the fit, and once I put the shoe on, it hurts, you know what I mean? Like just walking around casually, I can't do it. I tried walking around casually, just going out with my girl or whatever, we're going out to eat, and just I can't do it, you know what I mean? It really hurts my feet for the width, and also for just the snug fit here in the toe box. But then if I play, once I put on the shoe, it hurts, right? But if I play like a game or two and kind of like warm my foot up a little bit, I don't know, my foot gets used to it a little bit and doesn't hurt as much. So yeah, if you like a super duper snug fit, or you have a very narrow foot, then go true to size. But for most people, I feel like you should go up half a size, right? And also with other different cushioning setups, right, from Player One Plus, I did put in the explosive setup and also just the regular drop-in setup, and it doesn't really feel that much different, right? The actual React is really nice here in the Kobe 9 Protros, and also the thickness is around the same too, so it's not even like this is gonna improve the fit that much either. So yeah, there is the fit there. That's one really bad con for me. It just hurt my feet. And now moving on to support and lockdown. Support and lockdown is great though, right? So like I mentioned before, for lockdown, you have kind of like those raised ridges in the shape of like a diamond, kind of going all the way down through the drop-in midsole. And also with the texture of the drop-in, it just grabs your sock, and even if you're doing crazy lateral movements, your foot is locked into the footbed, which I really like. And also, if you look at the side of the drop-in, we have a raised sidewall for extra lateral containment. And also here in the forefoot on the outside of the shoe, we have rubber coming up. And also here in the heel, we have the plastic and carbon fiber. So lateral containment's really, really good. I mean, even if you're a bigger dude, you should be fine, right? And lateral stability is really good too, right? It's a wide base, it's a very flat base too. And here in the heel is very flat too. So I had zero issues with lateral instability, and lockdown overall is extremely good. And Kobe's have really nice heel lockdown, especially because they have a lot of foam padding here on top, and just kind of like locks in your heel like this, you know? So support and lockdown, amazing in the Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro, just like in the original Kobe 9, right? So support and lockdown is great, right? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, the Kobe 9 was actually a pretty dang light shoe. I mean, most Kobe's are, right? But if I remember correctly, this was like 11 ounces, I think. Yeah, 11.25 ounces. That's very, very light. I feel like the Elite Low, the Protro, is a little bit heavier, right? Yeah, 12.35 ounces. Probably because, you know, they made the drop-in midsole a little bit thicker too, but 12.3, that's around average weight. That kind of sucks, you know what I mean? But an ounce for a little bit better impact protection, I don't think is that bad of a trade-off in my personal opinion. And let's check the other shoe. Yeah, 12.4 ounces. So it's just average weight, but overall the material does feel pretty dang minimal here in the toe box. It does get a little bit more comfortable and plush in the back of the shoe, but overall it does feel very responsive because the traction is good. You're low to the ground. You have a very good lockdown. So when you're playing, you feel very, very quick, right? But the only thing that you just notice the shoe when you're playing it, because it's just so clunky here in the heel. You know what I mean? Or at least for me. So there is the weight there. Moving on to the ventilation. Ventilation's okay. Through this Flyknit, there's not that good airflow. There's a little bit, but there is an underlaying material because it is a half booty construction tongue. So not the best for airflow. We do have a little bit through here, like this mesh material for the tongue, but that's about it. So it's not the best for ventilation. And as far as the aesthetics go, this is one of the most beautiful basketball shoes, in my personal opinion, that's ever been designed. You know what I mean? The only thing I wish they did is make this part, at least this part in the back of the heel, like foam. But other than that, it's an amazing looking shoe. I love this colorway as well. So that's what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, this shoe broke in extremely nicely, right? The React still bouncy, the traction broke in to have a very top tier bite, and you know, the material also gets softer and more comfortable. Just the only thing, there's two things I don't like: the fit and also the clunkiness in the heel, which you can't fix. But of course the fit you can fix if you do go up half size, right? So overall, I really enjoyed playing in this shoe, and it reminded me a little bit of the Kobe 9, but just a little bit of a different feel because of the cushion. But overall, I feel like they did a great job in making the upgrade pretty subtle and keeping the overall feel of the shoe pretty dang similar to the original Kobe 9, right? So yeah, this is definitely a top tier performer, but it's probably gonna be pretty dang hard for people to get. Hopefully they keep releasing pairs, but I have my doubts on that with the Kobe 9. Also, I wonder if they're gonna release like EM Protros, because they released, you know, the Elite Low and the High. But anyways, that about concludes my performance review of the Nike Kobe 9 Elite Low Protro. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.